Okay, so part two of CHCLEG001. So we've just covered a scenario with Bella at first access. So we will move on to another question. So I'm just having a look for one that will suit our needs here. So a bit of a tricky one. It asks us to explain industrial relations and outline the legislation that governs industrial relations. So first up, what is industrial relations? What are industrial relations? Anyone want to give it a shot?
Yeah,
Like I said, it's open forum. Yes, Kathleen.
Sorry, Megan. I mean, my take on industrial relations is that it's in the name. So it is about relationships between people at work. So when I say relationships, it's not just about relationships. It's about everything. That's about safety. It's about and it's about rights. It's about all legislation that relates to the workplace.
Yep, fantastic. Heidi.
The industrial relation is the relation between management and workers in the industry.
Yep, fantastic. Does anyone else want to throw anything in for industrial relations? So just a quick overview of it. Just coming off, I did a bit of a look up in the background here. So it says industrial relations supports improved productivity and fairness within Queensland workplaces. New South Wales workplaces interchangeable there. The Industrial Relations Division provides advocacy, advice, and support to government agencies, including government-owned corporations, on public sector industrial relations matters and bargaining. We are still doing the same quiz there. I'm not going sort of 1, 2, 3. I'm sort of, as we move through, just picking out some of the more difficult ones as we go through. So that one was question 17 of the quiz there. So we've sort of covered this one a bit. This is question 18A. And it's described the purpose of workplace policies and procedures and what they should include. So that again is describe the purpose of workplace policies and procedures and what they should include. Yes, Edmund.
Is that something as simple as like safe work practices?
Yep. Essentially, what do you think? What do you think that would have included in it? That's all right. That's all right. Rightio. Who else wants to give it a shot? Yes, Kathleen.
So all of those things that we talked about before. So safety in terms of non-discrimination, in terms of psychosocial safety, in terms of physical safety at work, and also in terms of the way we care for our clients and care for each other at work.
Yep, fantastic. Stacey.
The policies and procedures, they provide frameworks for activities and decision-making within the workplace.
Yep, fantastic. Right, does anyone else want to add anything in? Have you got another answer there, Stacey? You've got another hand up? Yep, fire away.
Promotes accountability and
Yep,
consistency inside the workplace.
fantastic, fantastic. Yes, Edmund.
Just take a shot at this as well, that it's to promote sort of adherence to the regulatory standards that might be within the state, territory, or country that you're in.
Yep, fantastic, fantastic. Does anyone else want to throw one in? Yes, Jay.
Does that include stuff as in-house as well? So for the company you work for with their policies as, you know, their individual policies that don't match others, but they might be like, you know, we're an open door policy. Everyone can come through the door. It doesn't matter their criminal record or history along those lines.
It does, yeah. So a lot of these policies, they will be like with the open door policy, it's to let anyone come in and feel open and welcome to coming in. Not many places, or there will be places with open door policies where they come in. They may have official open door policies where it's a document there that's been written by HR. Others might say, with your like official ones written by HR, they will differ from every single other organization. Each organization will write their own policies and their own procedures based off of the acts and the legislation. Now, most of your policies and procedures are universal amongst companies. It's just the wording that changes in them and stuff like that. Yes, Stacey.
It
Sorry, you've cut out there. I think we might have lost it. Can everyone else still hear me at all? I don't know if it's my internet. Yep, all good. It's just frozen. That's all right. We'll come back to Stacey soon. So our next question on 18, so 18B, is describe processes of how policies and procedures should be reviewed, including consultation in your response. That's all right. So how do you think they should be reviewed? What should be the process around the policies and procedures being reviewed? Yes, Edmund.
First, by currency, like keeping current with changes in legislation and laws and things like that.
Yep, that is. So a good example of that would be with COVID, the amount of rapid policy changes that COVID caused with an organisation. And not only just to sort of your infectious control policies and stuff like that, but every policy, the amount of stuff that had to change in the workplace and how you outreach, they were constantly being updated as everything changed and went on. Yes, Jay.
From the government level, obviously, as they start seeing different things, as Edmund was saying before, but also on the individual level of actual workers and then reporting back up to supervisors and up the chain as well as, you know, we've noticed a trend here, or we've noticed this is a bit unsafe, or this could be, you know, damaging to the clientele or something, but actually taking the feedback from the employees themselves that are on the ground and putting that into the, you know, reviewing for the policies.
Fantastic. Very, very well answered there. And it's also, you may have a set policy that's been within the workplace for a long time, but then you get a group of new employees and the policy doesn't exactly work for them, or the wording may be a bit off. So you need to adjust it moving forward. So it does include everyone. Yes, Kathleen.
In response to complaints from your clients, you might review your policies and procedures.
Fantastic. So I've got a trick question like I did before. It's not exactly in the online quiz, but I'll throw it out to the floor. How often do you think a company should review its policies and procedures? Yes, Edmund.
I'm just going to throw out a stab and be like seasonally, like on the 3-month period, maybe.
Yeah, you can do it 3 months. There's no right or wrong answer to this. Yes, Jay.
I've got a feeling that a realistic timeline would be once a year, just because things move, like businesses have got to run. Like, I think 3 months would be better, but
Yeah,
just the way I've seen businesses run, I would imagine that it's probably done averagely about once a year.
yep, yep. Yeah, Kathleen.
So, so I would say, in addition to having regular reviews of policies and procedures, would be if an immediate need is determined, if there's an immediate need to be met.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. So, as I said, there were no right or wrong answers there. Genuinely, a company will do it once a year. They will go through and review your policies once a year, depending on the policy itself too, and how much the company changes. They can do them every 3 months if they wanted to, but I think the HR team would be ripping their hair out. I think they'd stop reviewing one and have to start the next. So about, yeah, once a year, I think you'll frequently find. Some may not change at all, though. Some may not be reviewed for like every second year or something like that. But yeah, about once a year. Yes, Kathleen.
So when I say when there's a need, not only is that in response to complaints, but a new practice might be happening in the workplace.
Yeah.
For example, when I was working in the operating theatres, laser treatments came in, and we had to do a lot of health and safety policies and procedures to accommodate the use of lasers in the operating theatres.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Yep. And like putting it into like a community service perspective, like say that you work within a facility that people come into and they're able to attend like some of their services in there, but you decide that you've got an area that you could turn into like sort of a recreational area. So you like bring in a ping pong table and maybe a pool table and maybe a dartboard and stuff like that. Then that's where you have a look at your code of conduct, like how people are going to act in here. Then you go through and have a look at your policies around it. So how are people going to like interact with each other in here? What should we be aware of? What can go wrong and stuff like that. So you're entirely correct there, Kathleen, about yes, it can change depending on your workplace. New policies can be brought in, old policies can be thrown out. They are ever changing. Has everyone, just another bit of a trick question, just because we are on the topic of this, in previous workplaces, has everyone like been able to access their policies and procedures and been and known where to find them? Yeah, we've had a couple. Yeah, 50-50, yeah. So it is important to know sort of like where they are, like speak to your manager, like ask your manager, ask your supervisor, ask other staff to make yourself aware. A lot of induction processes for a workplace, especially in community services, will ask you to review policies as a part of your induction, some of the key policies and stuff like that. But yes, do make yourself aware of your policies and procedures within a workplace, especially before you start. Ask the question. Rightio, let's move on to the next one. So this question here says, and it is a multiple choice one. It goes, employers and employees have differing responsibilities under the workplace health and safety legislation. Please choose 4 responsibilities for employers. So instead of choosing off the list, what do you think some responsibilities for your employers would be? Yes, Edmund.
Number 1 is always providing a safe workplace.
That's correct. That's correct. Awesome. What are some other responsibilities? Yes, Jay.
providing training and the use of, like, access to PPE?
Yes, that is correct. Yep, I'll take that as two answers. Yes, you do have employers have the responsibility to provide training to their staff, and they do have the responsibility to supply the appropriate PPE. Yes, Kathleen. You're on mute again, Kathleen.
Sorry about this, but I've done a Cert 4 in health and safety.
Yep.
The supervisors are responsible for ensuring that risk assessments are done so that they can do risk management. And in terms of risk management, I just want to say that providing that the first thing that you try to do is remove the risk. The last thing that you do is provide safety gear and clothing. So in between actually removing the risk and reducing the risk, then safety protective clothing comes last on the list. So the question, yeah, that'll do for now, because it gets quite complicated. Oh no, and in terms of training, there are 3 components to training. There's instruction, and training, and supervision. So you need to go through those 3 separate components if you're teaching somebody, for example, to use machinery or to particularly use to use heavy equipment.
Yep. Thank you. Stacey, you've got your hand up.
Making sure that all complaints are dealt with appropriately and in the best response time.
Yes, that is an employer's responsibility, 100%, especially if they want to keep engaging in business and keep engaging with clients. You need to show that you follow up on these complaint processes, you understand them, and you follow them through. Thank you for putting that up. I wouldn't have thought of that off the top of my head either.
Can I also say reviewing the employee's work? So obviously reviewing is rewarding, which obviously helps with productivity. It helps with engagement. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yes, very good, very good. Yes, Kathleen again. Hey, unmute, Kathleen.
Involving the employees in making decisions, particularly when implementing something new to the workforce.
That's correct too. Yep. I seen Heidi, you had your hand up.
I guess you all deserve to have proper and responsible compensation and benefits, and ensure that the rights is equally given to all the workers.
Fantastic. Thank you. So with that one being the employer's responsibility, let's have a look at the employee's responsibility. What are some of the responsibilities of the employee? Yes, Kathleen.
So the employee, verbatim, is supposed to implement all of the employer's safety precautions wherever it is reasonably possible, or within reason. They're supposed to implement the employer's policies and procedures, and they're to look up, and by doing that, they're supposed to be looking after themselves and looking after their colleagues.
That's correct. Yep. Stacey.
Employees are responsible to making sure that they're keeping their credentials up to date. So like working with children check, first aid, CPR, any other upskilling that they might need to work within their job.
Fantastic. All right, Jay.
Taking, care of the people around you as an employee. So making sure that it's a safe work environment because you're the one on the ground, like making sure that everything around you is okay. The supervisors can't always be there for you. So you've got to make sure that you're in a safe environment yourself. And if not, that's when you contact the supervisors and, let them sort it.
That's it. Thank you. Righto, Heidi.
As a worker, we should always follow the company policies and work responsibly.
That's it. Fantastic. So yeah, it's you'd see a lot of the responsibilities of the employee and a lot of responsibilities of the employer are sort of that give or take, like the two sides of the same coin essentially. The employer has the responsibility to provide a safe workplace. The employee has a responsibility to maintain that safe workplace. That makes sense. It's two sides of the same coin. Yes, Kathleen.
So the employer and the employee together need to report when an incident does occur and write and fill out an incident form. And that's often then considered by, in a management setting, that'll be considered about how to eliminate the risk that caused the incident.
Yep, that's it. Thank you for sharing. Rightio, so now the next question, we'll leave that one because we've pretty much already covered it. Question 20 of our online quiz. It pretty much covers with what we've just been discussing. Okay, so this will be individual. I know we are spread out from all over Queensland and New South Wales and Victoria, maybe South Australia and WA. What I want everyone to do, and this is one of the questions on your online quiz, is name the health and safety authority in your state or territory. Yes, Stacey.
Safe Work New South Wales for New South Wales.
Thank you. Yep, that's good. Yep. Jay.
Yeah, same. I'm New South Wales. I was going to say Safe Work New South Wales.
Fantastic. Have we got any Queenslanders here? No Queenslanders. What about, Eliza?
I think we're WorkSafe Queensland.
We are WorkSafe Queensland. Yep. Righto, do we have anyone from South Australia here? Yep, Heidi.
I'm actually in Tasmania.
Tasmania.
It's Safe Work Tasmania.
Fantastic. Belinda.
Safe Work Victoria.
Safe Work Victoria. Thank you. Righto, anyone from WA or Northern Territory? That's all right. So yeah, that's just one of the questions, and that can be easily found. Just do some research, type in. It is recommended to protect yourself to have a look at all this stuff. Like what is here in the workplace to protect my rights? You look after yourself that way. We think a lot of physical stuff that we look after in the workplace, a lot of that stuff like mental and to protect yourself in the long term, it's good to be aware of. And lucky last question is, it's a research question, but we will have a bit of a discussion about it here. So the Australian government is committed to align regulations across care and support sectors. Research these initiatives and programs at www.health.gov.au and answer the following questions. So I'm just going to throw it out here, just see how people go with it for now. You will have to do research when you're going through this online questionnaire anyway, but explain the purpose of government's initiatives, of the government's initiatives. So does anyone know any current initiatives the government has going on within the health and community service sectors? Yes, Kathleen.
There's
You've just put yourself on mute.
Yeah.
There you go.
So in the aged care industry, there's the Serious Incident Response Scheme, which is a national national initiative that has been developed by the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission in response to the inquiry into aged care safety. And that one is about particularly residents either being at harm or being harmed. So it's designed to prevent residents from neglect and abuse in a nutshell. And that may be from staff members, it may be from other residents, or it may be from the physical environment. So that's one.
That's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have an initiative they would like to share? Yes, Stacey.
They've got Closing the Gap.
That is one. That is, yep.
One.
Fantastic. Can you explain a bit behind that initiative, just some of the basics behind it?
Closing the Gap is to help with diseases, especially with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, due to obviously they have a lower tolerance immune system, so we're affected a lot more with diseases. So they're trying to offer healthcare systems in place to obviously make it more feasible for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, Jay.
I don't actually have an answer to this. I just was wondering for future research. I was just quickly looking at the link that was provided through the actual question. When it comes to researching these type of things, when we're doing the quizzes and assessments, when you come to this page here, like initiatives and perspectives, that could be all the way to join the thousands quitting vapes, or is it only the acts like New Aged Care Act?
It will have it. Let me just have another look at the question. So the question does say the Australian government is committed to align regulation across the care and support sectors. So try to keep it within that window and support sectors. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. With these questions too, within assessments, just on the back of that, make sure you do carefully read the question. Sometimes it could be worded funny, but it is looking for a specific bit of information. So just make sure you read the question carefully. If you do struggle with a question and how it's worded, you can reach out to your study buddies on here. I don't know if you guys have got something in the background where you guys stay in contact with study or anything like that. Or you can ask in sessions like this. This is what these sessions are ideal for. If you're not understanding a question, like so say you jump on tonight after this and you get a question, you're like, that's just too hard, don't understand it. Write it down and bring it to the next one of these, and we can discuss it as a group because you may not be the only one. Yes, Kathleen.
I'm just wondering, does research initiatives and programs include legislation?
Going back to the question again, it's asking just to explain the purpose of the government's initiative. It goes to list 3 planned outcomes for participants and consumers, and lists 4 outcomes for providers and workers. So it's just it's asking about what regulation is in place for these, like what initiatives are there to help with these regulations, what's there to build it.
So we need to specify the regulation or the act and regulation, and then what's in place to meet those things. For
Yep,
example, the mental health initiative, that whatever the initiative is called, I've forgotten. It's a big one. So you want the act, the legislation, or the act, the regulation, and supporting programs.
I think it's more, not to be exact, because it's only asking for the government's initiative itself. So they might be bringing in stuff like regulations to for example, the vape one was brought up before. They're trying to bring the vaping numbers down, and it's actually illegal. So their initiative would be around,
Okay.
Don't use the vape one though, because it is asking for the care sector and stuff like that. Even though that's a prominent thing on sort of some people's minds, it is asking for the care and health sectors. Yes, Ian.
When this thing says that government, do we need to research on federal or the state, or do we need to research on both state and federal?
I think you're right with either. Sorry?
No, I didn't say anything.
That's right. Yeah. So it is.
So it is
either. There we go. Yeah. So it is either. The government side of it all. It doesn't ask specifically. It just asks you to use the website there, which is federal anyway. But yes, Kathleen.
So I just want to dispute that.
Yep.
Because it says the Australian government is committed. Yep. So the federal government is committed. And the website health.gov.au is not health.vic or .newsouthwales.gov.au. So I would suggest that it is that we're looking for federal initiatives.
That's it. Yeah, and that's my bad. You're completely correct there. As I was saying, look at the question, what the question is saying. It does ask you to use that website to answer the questions. So yes, yep. Rightio then, guys, that finishes up the online quiz. So I've covered about 90% of what's on that online quiz just there. So I hope it's been helpful for people. You may still struggle with it, thinking back to what did we discuss here, what did we do there, and that's where these information sessions, open discussions are good. It's to bring those questions forward. So that's what these Tuesday nights are going to start to look like, is these open discussions. In other sessions, we will talk about our role plays that we have to do, and even run through some mock role plays before you get them assessed and stuff like that, to help you through your assessment on that side of it. So just ending the night now, I will keep this open for the next half hour or so for any new guys that have any questions there. If not, you can jump off, but I will ask, does anyone have any feedback for me tonight? Would they like to provide any feedback? I'm open to feedback. It's what helps people improve. Yes, Ian. Sorry, you're on mute, Ian.
It's not a feedback, kind of a question.
Yep.
I've been trying to contact LSOs for like 4 days. Are they still away, or?
They should be back in the office now. I will take note of your name and I will chase it up for you.
Yep, sure. Thank you.
That's okay. I might just stop recording for now.